10 weeks ago, a new crop of budding entrepreneurs made their way to London. Their aim? Prove themselves worthy business partners and win Lord Sugar's £250,000 investment.
£250,000 goes into that business. No strings attached.
Are we going to win this?
Yes, boss.
Characters were critiqued.
Danny, you've made no decisions. It's like someone just pukes rainbow in this place.
This is a bloody shambles. There was no bloody strategy.
Duds disposed of.
It is with regret that you're fired. You're fired. You are fired.
Now 5 remain with everything to play for.
These boys just don't know what they're doing.
Michaela Wayne.
I mean, it is a bit of an insult, actually, mate, to be fair.
I have admitted my part in this board. Why can't you admit that you have ever done anything? You just do nothing.
Good luck, everybody.
Joanna Jarju.
In terms of the negotiation, I'll be leading it and I'll be closing it.
You are very, very argumentative. Everybody's wrong. You're always right. You're a difficult person.
Can I say, it is quite quiet.
James White.
So I'd rather take a bit more of a risk, spend a bit more.
James, when are you going to man up and stick up for yourself?
Should we run? Should we bolt round there? Should we bolt?
Sarah Lynn.
Go on, Sarah.
Whether you believe it or not, you didn't get it. And that worries me that you didn't get it.
Do 'em a deal, 2 for 7.
And Elizabeth McKenna.
Get out of the way! Get out of the way!
You are impossible to control. Any repetition and you'll be gone.
Understood.
Now just 2 weeks stand between them and the chance of a lifetime. Tonight, we take a break from the boardroom to reveal who are the final 5. First up, Michaela Wayne.
I'm different to other people in this process because I'm not dead clever and know all the right things to say. I'm just a normal northern girl who works hard and just understands business.
No nonsense.
We're not idiots. What we want to know is what furniture do you want to get?
Sales supremo.
We was aiming for 50.
Just for you guys, yeah? Don't tell nobody.
She always says her piece.
If I lose because of this, honestly, I'm going to be fuming. I can't be bothered with it.
First impression when I met Michaela was she had this thick northern accent. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, just buy whatever you want.
And then I get told she's got a company that does £3 million turnover. I'm like, right, fair play. And then suddenly you actually get to know her. She's such a lovely person.
Oh, Lauren, I love you a little bit.
Michaela is steely, she's firm, she's direct.
Yeah, you were definitely going to win.
And when you meet her, you can see she's clearly very capable.
Now, Michaela.
Straight away, Michaela made her mark.
You claim that you've got £3 million turnover.
Yeah, over 3 million.
I mean, what are you doing here?
I know it's good in comparison to most people, but I'm from Bolton. I just want more.
Michaela's determination to succeed stems from a modest background.
I grew up in Bolton. Everybody calls me out of time because of my accent, but it is what it is. And I love the North. Everybody's super friendly. People in London are so serious.
One of 6, Michaela has 5 brothers and was brought up by her mum, Karen.
I got divorced when I was really young. It was very tough. And they didn't have all the best things. They didn't have all the, the best clothes, the best trainers.
I mean, we was relatively poor. We had to have, like, free school uniforms and free school dinners and all that shit. So, yeah, it was tough. Like, we didn't really have much.
As a child, Michaela was a force to be reckoned with.
Michaela was the biggest tomboy you've ever seen. She was as rough as either of us. She just used to fight us all the time. All the girls on the street just couldn't stand her because she'd just fight with them every 2 minutes.
I was erring on the side of a little shit. I was a complete tomboy, didn't wear a dress till I was about 18, played on boys' football teams. I was always grounded. I never seemed like anything really bad, but yeah, I've had my issues.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Week 3. Michaela got a chance to show just how well she could boss the boys.
Having lost the first 2 tasks, the boys were pretty deflated, and therefore it was important for them to get somebody on the team to shake them up a bit.
Now, Michaela, I understand that you've got 4 brothers, have you?
Yeah, I do.
And Michaela looked like she was pretty capable, and therefore it made sense for her to move over for this robot task.
And I'm going to make you the project manager of this team. Off you go.
Hi, Michaela, you all right?
How are you getting on?
Tasked with creating a brand new robot.
The name that we agreed was Jeffrey with a double I at the end.
OK.
Michaela took her team in hand.
When written down, I don't know if it looks right, Jeffrey.
Part of the team had already chosen the name Jeffrey.
Hello, I'm Jeffrey, and I'm your helping hand for life.
The robot had already been programmed, so Michaela's decision to change the name caused massive confusion.
Simon?
Simon, yeah. Is he simple to program?
Not really, so we can't make any changes now.
Overruling her team in this particular instance was a grave error.
Simon wasn't Michaela's only mistake.
Hello, I'm Jeffrey.
While half her team pitched their robot to retailers,
Decided off Simon. It's just very confusing.
she shifted cheaper toy robots to shops.
We could go down to £46 a piece.
The way you split a team is always very significant. In this situation, one has to ask oneself, did Michaela take the easy route and just do the selling, which she knows she's good at,
45 and you got a deal.
45.50.
and therefore avoid doing the pitching, which is where the money really is? Or did she actually not even realise that that's where the money was?
We need to get down to numbers.
Michaela's management led to a loss.
I mean, that was a thrashing, really, wasn't it?
In the boardroom, she was under the microscope.
I looked at this at the beginning and chose the best people for the pitch. You know, I thought that they would be able to go in and win it better than I would be able to go and do it.
Why would you put yourself down like that? You're obviously a good salesperson.
Yeah, I'm not super confident.
That's an admission to make to me, who wants to invest £250,000.
Doesn't mean we're bad at business that I'm not confident.
I'm not very good at meeting new people and just feel a bit insecure or something. And so the thought of pitching to someone and them judging you, and it's always been overwhelming to me.
Michaela, I believe that there were some fatal errors made here. And for that reason, you know, I'm struggling.
Changing the name to Simon lost us the task. I was there after that. I couldn't believe it when he didn't fire me. I was just astounded.
Michaela, you need to follow the money.
I think Michaela was really lucky to survive that boardroom.
Go back to the house.
She didn't give a good account of herself. She came across as really nervous in front of us, and I think Lord Sugar actually lost a bit of confidence in her.
In her personal life, Michaela's had to overcome more than just her nerves.
In her early 20s, she suffered quite a bit with her health. She had a lot of disorders where she couldn't digest her food. She also lost a couple of babies.
She was told really that she would never have children, that she would get pregnant, but she would always miscarry. So typical Michaela style, she weren't having that. So she investigated it, and she come up with, in America, if you have these injections, you won't lose baby. So she had the vitamin injection, got pregnant, and then here he is.
Michaela's son, Harrison, was born in 2009.
My mum's the best, because she does everything for me, like make my tea and gets me loads of teddies. I love it 100%.
My motivation throughout life is to create a better life for my son. Have a good education, have a good life, not worry about university tuition fees, buy him a house, whatever he wants. He can have whatever he wants, as long as he's got manners, and he always hugs me.
When Harrison was 5 months old, Michaela made a decision that would change their lives.
I just had this thought, looking at my son, that I just want to give you more. We were still just in like a little 3-bed semi, and I wanted him to have a massive garden. And I was sat in work one day and thought, do you know what? I'm just going to leave. And I just said to my brother, who also works there, I was just like, shall we set up our own business?
It was in 2009 that Michaela and her brother set up their first publication.
It was hard though, you know, I was writing articles at night, getting up and doing the night feeds in the evenings. It was the toughest thing I've ever done in my life. But, you know, it's literally paying dividends now.
So this is the offices of Design and Build. We moved in here about a week and a half ago because our old office, we outgrew. We need more space for more staff. Since the start of the company, it was me and Michaela working in a front room. Within 12 weeks, we had 7 staff and our own office premises. Within 12 months, we'd moved again office premises. We've got one business on this floor, and then we've got one business downstairs, Vantage Utility Connections. Between the two businesses, there's about 25 staff. Michaela's director of both businesses, so she helps out with accounts, she does a lot of sales calls. She can also help out with design instructions and also editorial content as well.
Skills Michaela would put to good use in week 7. Tasked with creating a new car ad, she put her demons behind her.
I run a marketing company, although I don't like design the adverts of anything, but I do understand the process, and evidently I love cars as well.
Michaela had led her team to a defeat in the robot task, and she'd been heavily criticised for not actually doing any pitching.
I'd probably vote Michaela project manager.
Michaela, I'd want you as PM as well.
So when the advertising task came up, this was a great opportunity for Michaela to redeem herself.
I want to pitch. Well, I don't want to pitch, but I'm going to pitch.
The problem is, if you go on about not being good at something, clearly the rest of the team are going to share that lack of confidence.
Are you sure you want to pitch? We thought you want us to do more of the pitching and you take a bit of a back seat, or where are you at with that?
I think so far I'm doing a good job. I'd appreciate it if you was confident in me. Good afternoon, we're Team Vitality.
I knew that I had to pitch. That's why I put myself up for PM, because I thought I need to prove that actually I am going to be capable of this.
We are here today to show you our marketing campaign for Miami.
I whipped myself up into a frenzy, really. I was almost sick several times. I didn't eat all day or sleep the night before.
It feels young, it's cool, it's vibrant. If it was to be a destination, then the destination would be Miami.
And then I got through it and it was fine. And it helped to build my confidence, knowing if I could do the thing that I was most worried about in business, then, you know, I can go on and do anything.
So, Michaela, was you happy with your pitch?
Everybody said it was all right, so I'll go with you.
I'm very proud of Michaela as well for facing the demons.
Michaela drove away with a win.
I've got to tell you that yours was the best.
Yes.
Since then, she hasn't looked back.
Oh, very posh.
Michaela is an absolutely brilliant saleswoman. She's strong, she's to the point, she's got common sense.
Yeah, boy!
And she's exactly the sort of person I would want to work with on the outside world, so I kind of see her as a huge contender.
Cheers!
Michaela, you're doing brilliantly well on The Apprentice. We all think you're going to win. You're making us all so proud, especially me. You go, Cock.
Go on, Michaela! You can do it! You just better all behave.
What makes me good in business is because I came from nothing and now I've got something. There is no way that I can fail because I can't go back to that life. Don't just want a business within that's going to turn over 3 million.
Listen.
I want something that's going to turn over 40 million. So, I mean, you'd be mad to not invest in somebody like me because I've got this.
Sarah Lynn.
I've been in business 15 years and I know how it works. I'm super ambitious. I don't think in terms of millions, I think in terms of billions. And I always get what I want.
Reliable.
We sold them all! Sold them! Yeah!
Perfectionist.
Ooh, look, boys, they say 1947.
And above all, professional.
We want to target strong career women who are ambitious and are going places in their life and with their career.
She's very, very good at what she does. She's calm, she's quiet, she's logical. I've got a lot of time for Sarah. She's very, very credible, real world and in this process. Just an all-round really nice person.
Ladies, choose your PM.
In the process, Sarah stood out from the start.
I'm very happy to do it. I'm sure? Yep, brilliant. Yeah. What was playing on my mind is that my husband had categorically said to me going in, do not be PM for task 1. It's a poison chalice.
Off you go and good luck.
Taking an early lead is very much Sarah's style.
The first time I met Sarah was at primary school. We were both 7, started on the same day. She was the boss of one of the class and she'd be organising and stuff like that. So you always knew that she was going to be quite a dominant sort of force.
She was a very high achiever. She would always have to read more books or, you know, do more homework. If she was told to do a page, she'd do 3 pages.
But in 1998, it was all change in Sarah's childhood.
Her mother and I split up when she was about 5 or 6. So from that day, she sort of became quasi-peacemaker and she became quite diplomatic. And I think if you can manage that situation, you can manage any business situation that's thrown at you.
On her very first task, she was the peacemaker once again.
I'd really like Chiffon and Elizabeth on cooking.
I'd prefer to do it on my own. Elizabeth's faffled quite a lot the whole task. What is faffling?
Please, let's not be negative. Let's just bang out the sales and do a job.
I think I haven't been negative.
No,
anyway, I don't
you just said Elizabeth's been faffing. It's just not helpful.
I was really impressed by Sarah in that first task. She communicated really well, she drove the strategy, and actually she led them.
We're going to Canary Wharf, we're going to charge about £5 a burger, we should be OK.
Sarah's sensible approach saw the girls taste victory.
Ladies, well done.
Thank
OK,
you.
and I'll see you on the next task.
But just 2 weeks later...
My gut feel was we're not going to win with 4 more sales.
Her cool, calm style was put to the test.
We're not going to win anyway, I don't think, because we haven't sold even.
But you can always do the negative. You can always do it. You really out all day long in my ear roll. You're doing my head in.
This isn't about playing games now.
No, it's not a game, Siobhan. You're driving me nuts. So just
negative.
zip it or
you know
be
what?
constructive.
No, don't, how dare you?
Because I don't
like that.
Don't give yourself
talk to me like that.
It's hard to manage big personalities, and Sarah had worked hard to stay on track. But Siobhan had gone on and on and on, and Sarah just had enough.
Just don't give yourself enough credit to think I think you're competition to me, because I really...
I'm a lot more successful in my business. Sorry, I just don't need to...
I'm sure you are. I'm sure you are, Siobhan. I'm sure you're really engaging and people love you.
Well, you seem to have pulled it off, ladies.
Despite their spats,
Thank you.
the girls chalked up another win.
Boys, 3 weeks, 3 losses.
By week 4, it was clear the other candidates saw Sarah as a contender.
I've got to balance the teams up. So choose which one of these ladies you want to join your team.
Sarah, then.
Yeah. OK, Sarah, come and join this team.
Having lost 3 in a row, it came as no surprise to me that the boys very quickly chose Sarah to move across.
Their task, make money from the Women's Cup final.
I thought Harrison could sing some of his swing or his rap pack.
With Sarah on board, the boys finally scored.
Well, that's your first win, chaps.
I think moving over to the losing team, they'd lost every week, and then I moved over and we won that task. That felt like a really good feeling, because I felt like I had made us successful.
Well done. Off you go.
Thank you.
Sarah went from strength to strength.
You win.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Only losing once in the first 7 weeks.
Sarah's star was burning bright. She'd barely put her foot wrong, and I thought that woman has really got her eyes on the prize.
Sarah set her sights on professional success at an early age.
My desire to have my own business has been lifelong. My father was setting up his business at that point when I was about 7.
I started this business over 26 years ago. From as early as 8 years old, Sarah jumped in at every opportunity to do whatever she could. She did everything from helping me pick loads, organise run sheets, even sweep the warehouse. She even came up with the name and logo that we had when we started this company. I always thought she would have her own business. She was creative, hard-working, all of the key factors that you need when you want to run your own business.
With a 2-1 in history and politics from university, Sarah went to work for a TV company. But it wasn't long before she'd strike out on her own.
The idea for my business came about because I used to do a lot of corporate gifts. So we'd always do nice chocolates, and there was nothing out there that was really special in confectionery. So I just thought it'd be really nice to develop something that people would be proud to give and that would sort of bring sweets up into premium gifting format.
So this is Season13. It's Sarah's business for the last 6-7 years. And this is the production line. The guys are working on some giant jars. We're doing around 500-600 a day. The process is that the guys have to wait the first 3 lines, and then they have to make everything beautiful, because that's our product. We have to look beautiful. So then we have to check the weight in the end. That's what Madara does now. And then someone is stickering, boxing up, and then we're taking it downstairs.
Good afternoon, Sweets in the City.
Sweets in the City is online. We have a website, and we're selling for retailers. Sarah basically does everything. She's always running somewhere, and she's helps with everything. She's carrying boxes herself. So she's not like, OK, I'm off his side and I'm sitting there. She's always helping.
3 years after starting the business, there was a new addition to the family.
Teddy was a shock, but it was an amazing shock, and it did change the focus of the business slightly for a short period of time.
Big is a big Thomas.
It's a big Thomas. But we've got a great family support network who help us out and allow Sarah to do what she wants to do.
She's the amazing person that she is. She's managed to make it work with being a mum but also she's managed to keep her focus and drive on her business.
My family are just a huge inspiration and a huge driver for me because I want my son to be proud of me. So this would be fantastic for him to look at his mummy and to think she's achieved that.
Good morning.
Good morning, Lord Sugar.
Week 9.
You're going to be the project manager of graphene.
Sarah was back in the spotlight.
I'm thinking gourmet because it's fancy, it's difficult to make.
But in branding her recipe box, she made her first big mistake.
So let's have a think about brand names. I came up with Gourmet Crusaders.
Although we always advise candidates to be firm, actually pushing through a bad idea can be just as damaging.
When you're a crusader, isn't that when they went over and they took over?
No, I think to crusade is just to stomp, to walk around, to travel, to explore.
The retailers thought the name was in bad taste, and I don't blame them.
So where'd this crusader bit come from?
That was my idea. So the concept was that...
I don't like the name. I thought it implied that you're going to war.
OK.
A loss put Sarah in the firing line for the very first time.
It's come as quite of a surprise because you have performed quite well. But on this particular task, I can't understand why you didn't control it.
The final few weeks have definitely been the most challenging because I've been frustrated that I've gone to the end of this process and almost dipped in terms of performance.
Why should you remain in this process?
Over the 9 weeks, I've performed week in, week out. I've been on the winning team more than anybody. There's no coincidence. But I turned it into a positive and just thought being in front of him can only be a good thing if you're credible and if you know what you're talking about. I work with people, I work together, I lead, I make decisions when I need to.
Sarah survived that boardroom, but I began to question whether she was as good a business person as we'd seen earlier in the process.
Sarah tried to set the record straight on the fashion task.
So Helen Woolham's in the alphabet letter balloons.
I think that's brilliant. She'll love that as well, the designer.
But while decorating the catwalk...
The key thing is just getting her name out there.
She used the wrong name for the designer.
Her name is Helen Woolham's, but her brand is Hell of a Girl. She doesn't use her actual name, she uses her brand name, and now they've got it wrong.
Hi! We are so excited to showcase your collection.
My issue is it's Helen Woolham's as opposed to Hell of a Girl.
The team's performance added up to another loss.
You've won 7 out of 10 in the past 10 weeks, although this last 3 weeks you seem to have slipped back a bit. And that worries me, really, as to whether you've got the staying power in business at all.
It was absolutely Sarah's earlier performance that saved her in the boardroom. Had we not felt strongly that she was a genuine contender, she'd have been a goner.
Because of the high recommendations from these two here, I'm going to let you remain.
Thank you.
OK?
Thank you so much.
Sarah's had such a strong start and now such a bad dip.
£1. Thank you so much.
She's going to have to work really hard to show that actually it wasn't just a fluke in the beginning. And show us she's got what it takes, but she doesn't have long to do it.
Team Graphene.
Sarah, we are rooting for you. You can do it!
My sole focus going in here is to really show my personality and my passion for my business plan because I haven't had a chance to do that.
£50 a head. Deal?
I'm probably slightly quieter candidate and now there's no place for being quiet. It's about talking, shining and showing your abilities and I fully intend to do that in the interview process.
Next up, Elizabeth McKenna.
I'm the pottiest person in the room, all the time. But I'm also, more importantly, the most clear-headed person in the room. I've got a killer instinct in business, but I can be intimidating. Because I'm damn good at what I do, I'm better than anybody else.
Oh, my God!
Quirky.
Oh, get out of the way! Get out of the way!
Forthright.
I will let it go, but I feel it's a mistake.
Irrepressible.
Who would like some candy floss today?
Elizabeth's absolutely crazy.
Get some ice on the go.
She's intense, but she has got a huge heart and a lot of passion.
Spin round. Yeah.
Just a crazy, mad mixture of characteristics.
All right, mate, how are you? Good. If something's irritating me, I'll say it.
I would like to finish my point because you are interrupting.
If I feel something in my mind, I'll say it.
I'd love to tackle one of those boys and get him in a ruck.
And I have no filter.
Yes!
Sugar. And because of that, you either love me or you hate me. I'm giving it some welly.
From banging out burgers on task 1...
Go, go, go!
...to redesigning rooms on task 2...
Tell me what your skill sets are.
I've basically rebuilt my own house from scratch.
Elizabeth had strong opinions on pretty much everything.
Siobhan, do you want to do the measurements for myself?
Yes.
Are you measuring as well, Elizabeth?
I will do some measurements, yes.
I think we saw right from the first few tasks that Elizabeth is a very strong character. She has a tendency, however, to rub people up the wrong way because it's her way or no way.
I've done that one.
I'll just check it again.
Elizabeth, just leave the wall, it's fine.
Is there anything else you would like me to measure?
Have you measured every wall in this room?
Yes.
Perfect, no then. Right.
Have you measured the doors?
1 second.
The irony of it all is that having made such a fuss of all the measuring, when it came to it, she got it all wrong.
I don't mean to criticise, but is that supposed to be the centre?
Yeah, Elizabeth, is that correct?
No, it's not. Right, this is the... Yeah, OK. Thank you. Yeah, no, that's correct.
How did you measure that wrong?
I measured it. That's how I measured it.
Wrong.
Tasked with finding 5-star furnishings to dress the room...
This chair?
Sorry, guys, it's too expensive.
Elizabeth got carried away...
Oh, this one's nicer.
No, it's too expensive.
...keeping count of the costs.
But there's a mirror...
How much is it?
It's $4.95. At this point,
You're going to be allowed
I've got to put my foot down.
You don't need to put your foot down. You can have a discussion, Elizabeth.
Yeah.
You're not project manager, remember that.
When it came to the decorating phase, we saw Elizabeth's annoying habit of interfering with everybody.
Right, ladies, gloves on.
They were all getting on with the painting, but no, she had to interfere, interrupt, and stick her nose in where it didn't belong. Ultimately, on that task, I'm not sure if Elizabeth was a help or a hindrance.
Her style saw her singled out by Lord Sugar.
Now, I understand, Elizabeth, you ran the show a bit.
I kind of took control of that a little bit.
I see.
Born in Australia, Elizabeth lived with her parents and younger brother.
Elizabeth had a difficult childhood in many ways because her father was a very difficult man.
I've probably come through one of the toughest upbringings you could possibly imagine. And we had to leave Australia to get away from it.
When her parents separated in 1991, Elizabeth began a new life in the UK. But that brought its own challenges.
I was 6 foot tall when I was 11 years of age. So when we came to England, I was also the kid that was 6 foot tall with an Australian accent that looked and talked and sounded different. So it really was a struggle to fit in when we got to England.
I used to say to her, you don't have to be popular to be successful. You do your own thing, and you'll get there.
When Elizabeth found her calling, her confidence blossomed.
I did a college course in flowers, and I saw a business that was for sale that I knew was a good business. I did everything it took to get that business bought when I had nothing behind me. I managed to convince a bank.
The business flourished, and Elizabeth soon had 3 sites.
So this is one of Elizabeth's shops. She's owned the business for about 10 years. We've been in this store for about 2. This is the main shop area where the customers come in and see all the gorgeous flowers on display and plants and all the beautiful bouquets that we can make. So this is the office. Elizabeth can usually be found here. When she's in this room, she's in the zone. You don't talk to her, you literally just get on with your stuff and then she'll come and talk to you when she's ready.
No 2 days are ever the same working for Elizabeth. She's very motivational because she's very strong. She can be slightly bonkers. She's been known to lock herself in the back cooler, scream, shout, or she'll go outside and start skipping, or she'll lie in a flower box, or she'll cry. And then we might open a bottle of Prosecco.
Week 6.
If you look at the modern juxtaposition of the architecture versus the historical position of the architecture, the two bounce off each other quite well.
Elizabeth got her first chance to lead a team.
Come on over, let's have you.
On the trip to Bruges.
Guys, come on! Quick as we can now!
My initial thought of Elizabeth becoming project manager on this particular task was heaven help everybody.
We need to walk, not dawdle. I've got a schedule to keep.
She's a real bossy boots and can come across as a bit of a head teacher.
What's the word for hello?
Oi, oi.
Tell the square hello.
Oi.
We've got some chocolate for you guys to purchase. Would you like to come through and have a look?
But in this instance, her bossiness was useful. The tour went well.
To infinity and beyond!
And ultimately, Elizabeth showed that she could lead a task, which ultimately they won.
It's been emotional.
Thank you, guys. It's been emotional, was your last word.
I do say lots of different things, Lord Sugar, I must admit.
I've worked that out, yeah.
Elizabeth marched to victory.
You win, Elizabeth.
Thank you, Lord Sugar. Thank you, everybody.
Don't normally see that kind of forceful leadership outside of North Korea, you know. Good morning.
Good morning, Lord Sugar.
Week 9.
You'll need to design the packaging and create an exciting dish.
When devising recipe boxes, Elizabeth put herself front and centre once again.
I grew up in the kitchen with my mother, who's a chef and a trained catering lecturer.
Fantastic. The big question was, could Elizabeth step back and stop micromanaging? Well, the short answer was no.
Do you want me to chop it?
I'll chop it, it's fine.
That'll cook quick with the lid on.
She went on and on and on, James.
Why don't I chop the celery? Would that be all right? Yeah?
Yeah, I heard it. Yeah.
Until at the end, he just gave up and let her do it, and she took the lead.
Because it's chopped so fine, it gives more of a professional finish.
In their pitch, the team had to put on a live presentation.
Hi. Elizabeth, if you want to start the clock, I'll pass you the ingredients.
But Elizabeth bit off more than she could chew.
What I want to do now is get my heat back up, if it will go up. I'm just going to get my cooker to work.
There was a really bad atmosphere. It was chaotic.
Put it down, please.
Just leave it there?
Yeah, leave it. Put it down. Put it
OK,
down.
Chef, Pepper's getting in the way.
Let's
Come
just
back.
move. Too many cooks spoil the broth at this stage.
And to top it all off, the end dish was just a disaster. It was no surprise to me that they lost. Even less of a surprise that Elizabeth found herself in the bottom 3.
Karen said to me the pitch was so cringy, it was unbelievable. These were her words.
Toe curling. And frankly, I thought she was a goner.
You're like a giant hogweed, you know? You just completely take over.
I was at my lowest point through the recipe task, and I was being rounded upon again.
I know you mean well, but I'm really struggling in visualising you as my business partner.
I didn't know where to turn because I felt that nothing I was doing was right. And I found something from somewhere, and I showed Lord Sugar what I'm about. I'm a leader. I'm someone that will turn myself inside out to make my business plan work for you. I will achieve you £1 million worth of additional turnover in a business within 18 months that is currently running and in a position to go tomorrow, and I will do that for you.
I think seeing Elizabeth in the boardroom, I thought Elizabeth is a contender here because she was so passionate and so forceful in her argument for why she should stay. And I think she actually probably turned Lord Sugar in that boardroom away from firing her.
Lord Sugar, I only want to do my very best to help the team win, and I did my level best.
I think you do. I think your heart's in the right place, but
I just couldn't help
myself. Trying to calm you down is like trying to brush a piranha's teeth. You won't calm down.
Will you give me one more chance, please, Lord Sugar? I will do as I am told. I will...
I get what you're saying. I get it. I will
not let you down,
Go
Lord
back
Sugar.
to the house. Shut up.
Yes, Lord Sugar, thank you.
Thank
you. Much appreciated.
Moving forward, Elizabeth is going to have to prove that she can lead people without controlling them. She can actually work alongside other people, or Lord Sugar is just not going to invest in her.
Whatever comes from those interviews comes from it, but I am here to answer any question.
Go, go, go!
Challenge me thoroughly. I'll give you every answer you need.
Yeah!
The other part of it is, can Lord Sugar see something in me he wants to work with? I need to show him that. End of. And I'm gonna.
If I just concentrate on what I'm doing, get it done, job done. Fingers crossed.
Next, 23-year-old Joanna Jarju.
My motto in life is to be successful and look good while doing it. I'm definitely a force to be reckoned with. I'm tenacious. I'll do basically whatever it takes to get what I want. If I've got a goal, I'll go for it.
Opinionated.
It sounds a bit too harsh. It should be, hello, what's your name?
Resilient.
We've just lost the sale. Can we go to the next one?
Sassy.
I'm happy with it anyway, and I'm proud. Yeah?
First impressions are, I'm not sure what to make of you, but she's a little firecracker. She's very formidable. She's got a fantastic mind.
Joanna is the youngest candidate in the process,
Be gentle with me.
and therefore one had to wonder if she had the maturity to see this through. But it was clear early on that her lack of experience was not going to hold her back in any way at all.
Joanna's age hasn't proved a problem.
Well, you seem to have pulled it off, ladies.
She's won 8 out of 10 tasks.
The ladies have won this task.
Yes. Joanna has the best record in the process.
Well done. Okay.
And had the most number of wins of all the candidates in the final 5. And that doesn't come by accident.
There you are, you won. So, congratulations.
I think if I was any other person, I would be absolutely buzzing that, you know, I, on paper, have the best record in the final 5. It was you that started talking. Actually, you were the loudest person. But I do feel like other things overshadow it, and I think that's why I get upset. Don't blame everybody else. I'm not going to be told off when we all did it, and you were a culprit.
There's no doubt about it. Joanna is a really feisty young woman, and she has been involved in a lot of set 2 with her fellow candidates.
Joanna, if you're at all insecure about anything...
I'm not insecure about anything.
Right, that was the wrong choice of word.
It was. It was.
Time and again, Joanna clashed with colleagues.
If I could have the options of the great
Sorry,
silver,
I really...
or like a baby bluish silver tone.
Can I just ask?
It's pretty fundamental in business to get on with people who you work with.
Seriously, I just want to...
One of the key things that Lord Sugar's looking for is someone who can work within a team, but also is easy to get on with.
I just wanted you to know what I was thinking.
Can you let me speak now? That's
Well,
fine.
let me finish my point then, before you
I
start.
think Joanna can be argumentative. She has had a few clashes.
God.
No, I'm just...
Let me finish my point. Don't be like, can you let me speak now?
And she doesn't know when to back down. You know, there's a time and a place, pick your battles, and I think she picked one too many.
Joanna, everybody's wrong. Well, that one here is not telling the truth. You're a difficult person. I'm thinking to myself, do I need this aggravation?
To put her temperament to the test, Lord Sugar set her a challenge.
You're going to be the project manager of the next task, OK?
I was nervous for Joanna when she was made project manager because there's been so much bad blood between her and some of the other candidates that I wasn't sure they'd be able to rally behind her.
How much do you usually sell your rugelach for?
But actually what I saw in that task was Joanna working as hard as possible to avoid conflicts.
And would we be able to do it at around 25 pence?
Throughout the task, Joanna stayed in the driving seat.
Hello?
Hi, Bushra.
Joanna, we've got 30 minutes and we're just on our way to go and collect the scarlet doe skin.
I'm saying go for the doe skin.
OK, so we're going to take your lead and we're going to go, all right?
The biggest risk that I've taken...
Good luck, team. Bye.
...was to say, no, we're going to be late, but we're going to get all 9 items, so we've definitely missed the deadline. I actually do think it was also a calculated risk, and I feel like it was the one decision that made sense, and luckily it paid off.
You finally got to the House of Lords an hour late.
Because the sub-team sourced the doe skin. When he was about to read those results out, my heart just dropped to my arse, and I just thought, this is it, you're going.
Despite the delay, Joanna steered her team to a win.
Tears of joy.
I was really scared about that. I tried my hardest, but thank you.
Joanna had been put front and centre by Lord Sugar when he made her the project manager, and of course the win meant so much to her. She got really emotional in the boardroom, and I think we saw a softer side to Joanna, and that was a good thing.
Born and brought up in the Gambia, when she was 5, Joanna moved to the UK with her mum.
It wasn't easy at all. And I think that made her really determined to do well for herself.
Joanna worked hard at school, achieving 11 GCSEs and 3 A-levels. But she already had interests outside the classroom.
She did a lot of things just to make money because she knew I wasn't able to help her in any way.
The first job that I ever had was in a boutique-y little shop, but 2 men owned it. And they'd take me with them to the wholesalers and let me pick out the clothes that they wanted to stock within the shop. So that was my first experience of buying. And I used to work every Saturday for £30.
And every Saturday she used to bring home a bag full of clothes. And I kept saying to her, Joanne, where's the money then? you know. But she never brought any money home. She was always spending that money on clothes.
Joanna studied politics at Newcastle University. Graduating with a 2-1, she soon landed a job at a digital marketing firm.
I first met Joanna when she joined our graduate programme, and she definitely stood out from over 100 people who had applied for that position. She impressed me with her drive, her intelligence. She definitely came across as someone with real business acumen for someone so young. Quite quickly we realised that she had the talent and the capability to take on the full executive role.
Joanna's successful career start didn't surprise her family.
Her ambition is because she's seen how we struggled. And I think that made her think to herself, I want to make some money, I want to do this for myself, and I want to succeed.
Making my family proud is always in the back of my mind. My mum's always, like, sacrificed certain stuff for me. And I think that's one of the reasons why I'm so, like, ballsy and, like, just going for certain opportunities. Because if I don't, it's a bit of a slap in the face if I don't make the most out of it.
Week 9. The recipe box task. And with just one loss so far, Joanna had emerged as a serious contender.
Right, let's decide a team split.
But now she faced another character test.
I'm going to put Jade and Joanna on the branding team, and Jade is sub-team leader because I think it makes perfect sense to do that.
And given the job of cooking up a name,
I'm going to get up and start jotting.
Things quickly turned sour.
I like root flavours or root superfood.
I really don't like that. Sounds. I think it just sounds.
Okay, but
like...
I'm just telling you what I like. When I worked with Jade, we clashed anyway, and it was so hard for me to work with her.
We've never wanted root flavours.
That was my idea and you've just scratched it out.
I just don't think it's down that route.
And for it to only be me and her, it was either speak to Jade or not speak at all.
Out of those two, which is your favourite?
To be honest, Jade, I don't want either of them, and I'm a bit annoyed
But
that...
then offer a solution.
This is what I have offered a solution now.
Joanna felt that Jade was dismissive of her ideas, and although she tried to rein in her emotions, eventually they got the better of her.
Can I just have a minute? It really upset me, especially when I was trying to, like, learn from stuff as a person, but I felt like I still couldn't shake that argumentative thing, so it really bothered me. It still bothers me now.
In the boardroom...
Were you responsible for this, you two?
Yes.
Joanna and Jade's box put them in Lord Sugar's bad books.
You must have spent ages thinking that up.
It was an oversight not putting the ingredients
Well,
on the
actually, I
outside.
don't think it's fair to say that it was an oversight because it is something that was brought to the table.
Joanna, you sound like a broken record. All I keep hearing is that people take no notice of you. You can put your ideas in. If they don't get used, it doesn't mean you can go off into a strop over it.
Had the team lost, and I thought there was every chance that would happen, I don't think Joanna would have survived.
Oh, have we won?
You're shocked, aren't you?
I'm very pleased it didn't come to that, because I could see that she really was trying to learn from her mistakes.
OK, off you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I think that surviving that task made her even more determined to show that she was worthy.
Good morning.
After a bruising week...
You're going to act as fashion agents.
On the next task, Joanna seized the chance to play to her strengths.
My business plan is about a fashion brand, so I would love to be project manager.
I thought so.
I thought fashion was the one thing that I was good at, so I didn't want to prove myself wrong in that sense. So I want you to be like, as if you're contemplating something. That looks sick. Welcome to Zara Mia Ava's collection.
Selling the clothes, Joanna was in her element.
You might as well just take the whole one and I give you 10% off.
Go for it.
Yeah?
Cool. Well done.
In the boardroom...
Very good. There you go, Graphene.
The passion paid off.
If that task had have gone wrong, I would have really second-guessed what I'm supposed to be doing, so it's really cemented for me that this business plan is what I'm good at.
I'll see you in a few days' time, OK?
Thank you, Lord.
Well done.
She's done an outstanding job. What a way to go out on week 10 to get yourself into the final 5. I mean, everyone said she'd done a cracking job.
Oh my God!
In Joanna, we now have someone with the best track record in the process. She's got 2 wins as project manager under her belt, one of which was in the area she actually wants to go into business with Lord Sugar, and that is, frankly, tick, tick, tick.
I know you can do it. You know, I love you, I miss you, and I'm so proud of you. I'm really proud of you. Keep going. I know you can win it.
Thank you. Oh! I cannot believe that I'm still here. I'm not going to lie. I really, really can't. Well done, well done. I am barely out of uni.
Little bit feisty.
But I do feel as if my credibility has definitely grown. And I was definitely made to do this. And I've got what it takes to make it a success. Thanks, guys. Thanks for all your help.
Finally, last man standing, James White.
There's no one out there like me. At the age of 23, I was earning £100,000 a year. I succeed at everything that I do, and there's no one out there that's better than me.
Self-assured.
100%, 100%. Carry on, let's go.
City slicker.
Like if the robot could go down like that, and you went up like that.
Super salesman.
Hey, me.
At the moment I saw him, I thought, oh, my God, I'm going to hate this guy. He's just the epitome of city boy, and that is so far removed from where I'm at. But he's super lovely when you get past all of the oh, hello stuff.
Good day, guys, seriously.
James, in many ways, is sort of the perfect candidate. He's young, he's ambitious, and he's good at what he does.
All about the monies.
But at times I've wondered whether he is as talented as he is confident.
Your first task.
When James entered the process,
you're going to manufacture your own burgers.
He soon found cutting a deal with Lord Sugar.
We are after some turkey.
Took more than just confidence.
We were thinking £7 a kilo.
Maybe £9.99.
In the early task, the boys couldn't get it together.
Feel like a butcher yet, boys?
We're mincing!
There was lack of strategy, shouting over each other, no listening, and it was not a good start.
A loss. That is diabolical. That is really, really diabolical.
The following week,
these chairs look very luxury to me.
The boys were unhinged by hotel decor.
We've spent 7,652 already. No, that's not a lot.
In charge of the budget, James got more than he bargained for.
Where did it all go wrong?
This process is very intense.
I'm not the reason for the failure of this task.
The thing is that you were the sub-team leader, right?
Yeah.
I got thrown in the deep end because week 2, neck was on the line. Lord Sugar's trying to fire me. I'm like, I haven't even got going yet. Please just give me another chance.
I think it did miss a trick here, but it is early in the process.
James didn't have to check out.
Go back to the house.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
But when another week brought another loss...
This is the 3rd task, and the 3rd task you've lost.
Things look desperate for James.
This is a bloody shambles, you lot. I'm not impressed at all.
Out of the final 5, I've got the worst record over the 10 tasks.
Go back to the house.
But what I will say today is I'd rather start bad, finish strong, than the other way around. So I'm still here, aren't I? Last boy standing.
From a young age, James showed a passion for cash.
When James was 10, he started to get his entrepreneurial ways. He wouldn't go and play sports like other people did. He went out earning money.
Myself and my best friend started a car washing business. It was called Star Wash.
He had his own little cart, and he'd wheel it around the town, and he would go to all the houses that got cars, knock on the doors.
We done really well. We were earning a couple £100 on a weekend just from doing some cars.
James used to come around, walk my dog, clean my car. He used to mess the cars up before he would clean them to generate a little bit of extra work. Just a general wheeler and dealer, basically.
When he was at school, he would sell drinks, he would sell sweets, and then he was doing these 3 paper rounds during the week. He would just do anything to earn money. I mean, his nickname was Del Boy because he was always wheeling dealing.
Honestly, I go back there, everyone still calls me that. It's like I go into the local pub, they're like, oh, Del Boy. I'm like, yeah, you're right.
After James's initial losing streak...
Great, there you are, go on then.
3 wins brought him back from the brink. And in week 7...
You have to come up with an advertising campaign to launch a brand new car.
James made his move.
I'm happy to lead it.
Yeah, fine.
Perfect.
Being a good manager is about listening to your team and taking on their ideas.
Picture it. Mum comes out of a house, she's got a million trillion things going on and her hair's not done properly.
But it's also about being firm.
She puts a handbag on the roof of the car. As she drives off, a handbag flicks off the side, but she's on her way to work.
I was really surprised how he let his team railroad him, and he, in effect, just took a back seat.
It's funny.
Okay, good.
But Elizabeth steered her vision through.
You've got her leaving her old life behind, and at that point, we're revealing the car's brand, and then she's gone. She's into the real world. She's back in the 21st century. I've got an idea with the music as well. I've got the key, I've got the secret. Cut it there, and then just go to boom, 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 and then you could take that down and go expando.
I didn't hear a peep from him, and that lack of leadership was seriously worrying.
The result, a car crash.
Expando sounds like some sort of form of elastication of garments.
My worst moment was the advertising task. I kind of knew we'd lost it before we'd even got in the boardroom.
I've got to tell you, that is a terrible TV advert.
When I look back at it now, it was embarrassing to sort of watch.
And I was so close to being fired. I could feel the finger hovering around me. I was just like, trying to like, don't fire me, please don't fire me.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to say this. I can't give you any more warnings, OK? All go back to the house.
James survived the boardroom, but the question was, what would he do with that defeat? And if there was any moment that James's future in the process lay in the balance, it was that one.
But bouncing back is in James's blood. When he was born, his family lived in a caravan park. Just a few years earlier, his father's fortunes had been very different.
My dad was in business. He sold like high-end fur and leather coats. I mean, like high-end. He sold a coat for £50,000. Had loads of money. He was living in a 9-bedroom house. He had like a sports car on the drive.
If you work hard, you benefit from it. But then people stop buying furs. So I just closed up.
He basically went down and lost everything. His house, he lost his first marriage. And then he just went back into work then. He worked for like a furniture store as manager. He didn't really ever go back into business. I think he took it hard after he lost it.
Determined to make it to the top, James studied international business.
We know James from university in first year. I think we both hated him straight away.
Yeah, I definitely disliked him at first. He was too arrogant, but once you get to know him, he's got a heart of gold.
No, he hasn't. By the time we got to third year, he just suddenly became obsessed with making money and being successful. I think he was like, it's time to knuckle down and do something with my life. And I think he left us behind a little bit. I think he was kind of like, well, I'm going to crack on.
After graduating, James got a job in recruitment and quickly rose through the ranks.
Do you believe he's too senior for the role, or in terms of his experience? I mean, he's worked
In 2016, James set up his own recruitment firm.
This is the office that we've just recently moved in. We've got 4 in at the moment. 2 of the guys are out, and we've got 3 new starters on Monday. This is James's desk. Just because most don't make it doesn't mean you can't. I think that's his cheesy mantra that he uses. To be honest, I don't think he needs it.
Earning a 6-figure salary at just 22, James has been able to share his success.
He's very thoughtful. He's done so much to help me. When I hit 65, he paid for me to go on an Nile cruise. Because I just love Egypt, and he paid for it.
Got a lot of love for my dad. And I want to be successful in his lifetime and be able to give him the life back that he once knew. For him to be like a proud, I mean, he is proud anyway, but do you know what I mean? I want him to be really proud.
Good morning, everyone.
Week 8.
I've organised for you to take over a doggy daycare centre.
Determined to prove he could shake off defeat.
Off you go.
James made a bold move.
Biggest moment for me was after I lost the advertising task as project manager. I've got 2 dogs, and then decided on the next one to step up as project manager. I used doggy care facilities all the time.
I think you've got to give real credit to somebody who puts their neck on the line after having lost the previous task.
You appear to be qualified for the job.
Cool, brilliant, so I'll be project manager.
Because let's face it, if you lose 2 in a row as project manager, you're probably for the job.
We're actually offering some Pooper Scooper services today in the area.
Come in.
Oh, brilliant. Cheers. Gave it absolutely everything. I mean, I was picking up dog poo for 2 days, so, you know, I did give it everything.
But I've done the dog poo.
Perfect. And there's the receipt for you.
James sold well, led well, and I'd say that was one of the most competent performances I've seen.
Todd, mate, well done.
Brilliant.
Come on, get in there.
Let's go. James, project manager, that's rather unusual, 1 week after the other.
It's the right task for me. It was sales, negotiation, and I wanted to demonstrate that I had the skills to take it on.
This time, top dog James led his pack to victory.
Congratulations, and I'll see you on the next task.
To go back into the boardroom, it was like a sense of relief. It was like my deal-breaker moment, because if I had lost back-to-back project management tasks, I'd be gone. And that, for me, was my standout moment.
Get some bubbles on, boys!
In the interviews, James is going to be really good. He works in recruitment. He knows the ins and outs of all interview techniques.
Oh, lovely. We'll get you signed up.
If anybody's going to be prepared for spanners in the works in an interview, it's James.
So this is where the magic happens.
James has definitely got what it takes to win the Apprentice. He's a succeeder. He's a guy that will win. He's a winner. He is a winner.
I'm in the mindset currently that, you know what, bring it on. Yeah, you can throw your curveballs at me, but you know, I'll come out fighting. I'm not going to fold under the pressure. I'm going to give it my absolute all, and I'm going to make sure that Claude goes back into that boardroom and says, do you know what, Lord Sugar, you need to have James in that final, because I want to be in that final.
James, you're doing an amazing job. Keep it up, bud. Doing well. Brilliant. Come on.
Next, for the final 5, their most gruelling task to date.
Can't see this going down well today.
The interviews.
Final 5, here I come. I haven't just sort of turned up and then ended up in the final 5. I've given it my absolute all. You know, I deserve to be here. I've come this far. It's like, I'm not here just to get to the final 5. I'm here to walk away with £250,000.
I feel like I'm getting ready to go to my own funeral. I know what happens in these interviews. I know they're going to do whatever they can. They're going to make me look ridiculous. I honestly don't care. I know this business inside out. I know the figures inside out.
I'm going to win Lord Sugar's investment because I've got a totally original idea. I'm aware that I'm still quite young, so I 100% need that guidance, but it's an idea for the next generation, so why wouldn't you pick it?
I went from 1 business to 3 in 1 day. Bloody hell, who could do that? I've also got a fantastic business opportunity that I wish to present to the world.
I'm so lucky to be here, but I intend to make that count, and I intend to make sure that coming out of those interviews, I'm in that final 2. It's just game on.
Good morning.
Good morning, Lord Sugar.
Now you know them a bit better, who is your money on to make it through the dreaded interviews? Make sure you join us on Wednesday at 9 here on BBC One to sit in. In a moment, we look back to their last task, that fashion fiasco.